Hey, what's up? Scott Balkum here with Imagination Creation Films, and today, well, we're going to be talking about, I don't know, pretty much anything and everything. I got my drink, and, you know, what else do I need? So yeah, it's another day. It's Tuesday, and you know, honestly, I am completely and totally uninspired today. I have absolutely no idea why. I just really don't feel like creating anything. I wish I knew the answer to that, because that would probably solve everyone's problems out there. You know, I preach it a lot that, you know, when you're down, just get back up, and I will. I just don't know why. I just don't feel like it today. Are we dropping frames? No, we're doing good. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Jason. Hey, Bill. Oh, it's, yeah, you know, it's a fun one. I gotta fix that. My desk is wobbling. I don't like my desk. I'm slowly kind of modifying my, my live streaming set back there. I've brought in several of the things from my other set that I had, because I didn't want to walk back and forth. I'm really the ultimate lazy. But I can do, now I've got my big chair over here. I got my telephone so I can make phone calls. Mr. Bill is now proudly here, and I got my Nixie tube clock. Hey, Robert. Yeah, so it's kind of slowly coming together. I've got these light bulbs that they're not what I intended. I really like those old vintage ones that actually every YouTuber now on the planet is using, but it's hard to find those for less than $50. So yeah, you're inspired. You can help me film a review. Yeah, I probably could, but I'm live streaming. That would be a little rude to everyone else, don't you think? I mean, Jamie, it's not about you. It's about the community. This is what this is all about. I always get the most inspiration when I'm too sick to do anything, i.e. right now. Yeah. No, I know the feeling. I actually had some really good ideas that kind of came to me last night, and I fell asleep, and they just kind of poof, just off into the ether. I saw a movie. I didn't actually think I would like. It just felt like it was weird, but it's actually a pretty interesting story and kind of fun and a reasonable story. It was the Love, Simon. It was out in the summertime. I saw it on HBO like last night. I kind of dig the storytelling in that. I thought it was well done, and it kind of spoke to me on a couple of levels of filmmaking. With the Doogie Howser kind of thing, that's what they were doing there, where he's basically typing his computer, asking questions and having conversations. And I've always loved that kind of, you know, you reveal the story as you type it. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, Jamie, I agree. The old one looked horrible. I really like the fact that you have a set. Well, you know, it's one of those things where, I mean, there's really no difference in that, I mean, it could be a window in your bedroom, and there's no reason that could be anything other than the fact that I can now completely control that environment. And that's always one of the things that has totally interested me in filmmaking, is just recreating life so that it is true and kind of cool. But I need help. I need something. Me. That's a lot of E's there, Jamie. The HBO movies I watch are kind of not chat appropriate to mention. That's Skinamax, by the way. That's not HBO. Finishing up the review on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. It is an interesting camera. I have posted some pictures out there on my Facebook, and many of you have commented and such. It is interesting to see the responses, because many people think they're right. They're not right. Comparing it to the GH5 over there, there's a couple of things I will say about it. It's a good camera. I mean, for the price, it's pretty hard. You know what? This is really bothering me. Excuse me while I move that. There we go. It's a good camera for the money. It's hard to say something negative about for the dollars. It feels cheap. I mean, feels really cheap. It's a little bit overwhelming to use just because of the sheer volume of everything that it does. Overusing battery, overusing data. The picture is always warm. I don't care if you turn down the color temperature to its blue. When you get it in post, it'll be warmer than it looked. It's weird. Let's see here. Hey, Richard. Ads. Ads? Oh, ha. Hey, man, I got to make my 4 cents. And I only make 4 cents on all of you watching the ads. Sorry. That's all I got. I could push the ad button, though. I did see that's that's such a, I don't know, that's an uncool thing to just, you know what, we're going to do an ad right now. It just feels a little wrong. Yeah, so far so good on the dropping frames. Why is this turned? That's weird. I've got the Hive light is in the back now. Used to be, it was a quasar tube back there, but my intention was always to let's see if I can connect to it. That's the one negative with the Hive lights is the range on the Bluetooth. Not exactly a winner here. There we go. Now we're connected. So is it connected? Nope. It's live on set. The Hive light just fails to function. Is it working or not? Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I'm logged in. I'm scanning. Like I said, the range not so good. Huge failure on the. There we go. Now we got a light. Now I can turn it red. Yeah, there we go. That looks exactly red, doesn't it? But come over here to the lighting effects and we choose the lighting. We slow that way down and we turn that on. Pretty sure the lighting's supposed to be white. There we go. So, yeah, let's embolden that color a little bit. That's the goal was to have complete and total control back behind. Wow, why is that? Huh, it was like jumpy. Felt wrong. So it's not even ever going to flash now? Is that truly awesome or what? There we go. There. Maybe I'd have to leave it open. Let's see. Really? Now we're just going to flash all the time? It's pretty funny. GH5 is better? Maybe. Jiu-Jitsu video tomorrow. Blue matte fluorescent lights. Overhead lights? Yeah, when you go into a space like that, the best thing to do is to obliterate the overhead lights. Just turn them off and use as much of the light you can bring in yourself because those bulbs up there are always the nastiest bulbs ever. They never match color. How much? Good grief. Let's slow this bad boy down. That's a lot of light. I don't have any thunder sounds, so we'll need that. Yeah, you gotta you got to get rid of those lights over there. You just can't win. I mean, the ideal thing would be to go in and hang a bunch of quasars over them, but then they might show up in there. So if you ever notice anywhere they couldn't control the lights are always off. You see an office and TV, an office that doesn't have a full-on set on the TV shows, the lights are always, overhead lights are always off, and it's always the wonderful desk lamps and the sunlight coming through the windows because they couldn't control the lighting. You can run that while I look for something. Restroom break. Right. Hopefully I'll get the 7200 before I go to set up. Yeah, 7200 is a stellar lens. It is. I really don't know. They said they improved it on the Mark III. I don't really care about features. All I care about is optical. The optical capability of the Mark II it's phenomenal. Really, Jamie, your comment got flagged because you said nasty. Now that I said nasty, I'll get flagged for my ads every time now. Anytime I say something even remotely controversial, I get flagged. Tried anything with the comet or meteors? No. Last night was truly the first night we would have been able to see it because it's been cloudy at night. Really kind of odd because usually our winters are pretty clear, if not hot. I didn't have a chance to play with it. I saw yours though. That was pretty cool. I don't think I can light it. I can put stuff on the mat and it takes up almost the entire place. I'm going during a normal class. Always remember, get signatures, get releases, model releases. Everybody on there is a potential lawsuit. Didn't mean to say anything bad. You just said nasty. Can't. Oh, well. Well, then you got to do the best you can do. See if you can figure out what color bulbs they are and turn your camera to that and pray for the best. So, if y'all haven't checked out the Ronin, this thing is funky. The Ronin S is on sale on Amazon. I'll put a link in the chat below. It's $549. This thing is pretty awesome for $549. I mean, truly a powerful little device for $550. It's got focus control. I have found now that there is a universal mount that takes off the whole bottom, and you can mount this on a car or what have you. You can control it with a little RC joystick, which I haven't hooked up yet, but yeah, y'all should check those out if you're looking for a portable, not a big old Movi, but just a handheld. These are pretty slick. They look like daylight. Famous last words. Well, they looked fine when I was in there. They never look fine until you get back and you find out they didn't. I was planning on doing. I'm just trying to clean up my studio. Even I'm always cleaning up my studio. Have you noticed that? That's because it's a horizontal surface and everything comes in and gets set down after I go out. I want to do some lighting demonstration videos because I've definitely teased those enough, and I want to do some light type comparison as well. I have sent my lovely daughter out to find me a mannequin, which incidentally, she finds them super creepy. So guess where that mannequin's going to end up all the time now. But a mannequin is really easy for me to control light and be able to film that and show it. But I wanted to show the different light types, the different types of light roll-off that happens with the different types of lights, the different types of modifiers, all that stuff. Does that interest anybody, everybody? I mean, it's not going to interest everybody, but is there any interest in any of that? I'll go in as in depth as I can or need to be. Um, Ordered some plates to make the light mounts, but I shoot raw. What screws did you use? I don't remember. I feel like they were like 4 millimeter. They honestly, when you get the little clips, go to the hardware store and find ones that go through the clip and through the holes that are already on the plates. Hopefully you used my Amazon affiliate link when you ordered those, Richard. Um, and then just find a bolt that goes through. I used a Phillips head on one end and then a nut on the bottom, and find the one that my dog is upside down. Find the one that fits, that you don't need anything sticking out other than just enough for a nut, and then just buy as many of those as you need. Excuse me. I mean, today it's just been something else. Robert Del Toro says, yup. I'm assuming that means yup for lighting. Richard likes the light stuff idea. Okay. How in depth? Let me grab a light. I'll be right back. I want to do what you guys all want, and by you guys, I mean you guys are about the best judge of what the rest of the channel loves. So, my live streamer crew. So, like, how in depth do you want me to go? Do you want me to just discuss the light types, as in this is an Arri Fresnel, this is a tungsten, or do you want me to dedicate an entire episode to each light type and everything that you can and can't do with them? By the way, these are about the best lights you can buy. They're not LED, they're tungsten, they're super hot. You can get them super cheap now, but these things always work. Tungsten always looks beautiful, always. And they're super powerful. And on winter, they keep everything warm. You can also make bacon right on the little, see, it's got a, right here's a little grill. So you can make a normal sized hamburger patty right on it. You know, so tell me to what extent would you like me to chat about the lights themselves, the light styles, or just in general? Do you want just like one episode of all the lights, or one episode each of a light? Because I've got every kind of light known to man. The plate was sold out. Yeah, those plates come and go. I mean, when I bought mine, they were like $10.95. I'm like, I'll have 7 of them. I probably bought them all. And you know, they're only like $3 more otherwise. So it doesn't. There's no technology to a baby plate. I mean, really, there's nothing. This is the Matthews, which I absolutely love Matthews gear. So, I mean, I always say, yeah, Matthews is the better choice, but there's no technology. It's a pin and a plate, and they're screwed together. Don't need a whole lot of awesomeness there. Ali said, that looks awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. My buddy Bill, not my buddy Bill on here, but my other buddy Bill, he told me I need to put a big TV right in front of the camera, so I stopped looking away. I'll try. TVs are certainly cheap these days. So if I had the quasars, you would say to replace all the bulbs? No, what I'm saying, if you can get away with not shooting the ceiling, if you can like frame the bottom, I would stick a quasar and just gaff tape them safely, because you don't want to mess with safety. But you could gaff tape those. Also, it is not unheard of to actually stock the actual bulbs that you want to use and go in and replace every bulb, or unplug every other one and replace those with actual daylight balanced high CRI or tungsten balanced, that kind of thing. That is very common to do. Gets a little pricey, but you know, they are options. I mean, if you look at an actual set, those are not light fixtures up there. They're actually holes in the ceiling, in the false ceiling, and there are giant 20Ks overhead that are blasting light in. And there's just diffusion up there. And they do that because they can have absolutely complete and even, no flicker, nothing. I use one of those wig head things for facial lighting practice and experimenting. Yeah, no, exactly. The other cool thing about light, and this is something that I just didn't believe when I was first told that, but light scales perfectly all the time. So you can actually take a light and use a Lego figure, and the light pattern, the light effect will scales perfectly. LED for days. I want more apertures. Apertures are great. Paid like 20. Yep, long neck. Oh, yeah. Robert says, I have a lot of people that ask me for a broad film school style intro course to lighting, but I never have time, and they aren't willing to pay for Shane. Yeah, no, I understand. Um, I mean, that's kind of the way I feel as well. I know I had 1,000 questions when I first started actually seriously lighting. I've told the stories of the first times I lit, but um, the 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 totally lost it. When I first started getting serious about cinematic lighting and actually motivating light and such, I had 1,000 questions, and really only 2 questions were ever really answered on everybody's videos, including Shane's. It was really tough. Shane's done a lot better lately with some of his lighting stuff, but I mean, I want to understand not only, oh, let's throw a 5K up there and blast it through this. Why? Tell me why you're doing that, and not just because you know it'll look good. I want to understand. There's a girl sitting on the edge of her bed, and there's a storm outside, and you want it to feel like what? Okay, there's a light in there, a little lamp, and we want it to feel like it's nighttime. It's kind of a dreary. Okay, so dreary means we probably don't want harsh shadows. We want soft, angelic. What is it? So we want to throw up a big 4x or a big 8x8 of massive diffusion and blast a light through there. We want it super soft. All of those questions never get asked or answered in any of those lighting videos. And I feel like that's something that people would love to have answered. My next statement is I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer those. I mean, I can answer from what I see, and maybe that's enough. But it's one of those. I feel like you could have somebody talking about light like 2 hours a day for the rest of your life, and you still wouldn't learn everything about light. Did we just drop? No, we're back. Okay. We're back. Okay. I see that my drop frames, that was weird. What happened there? I always get concerned when stream output low, stream is healthy. Not feeling it today. No. But I am, sorry, texting live. So let's see, and a lag. So did everything come back? I don't show any drop frames at this point, which it reset itself, which is genius. Now I have really no idea. Okay, so you have to leave the app open for the lighting effects to work. Good tip, good to know. So I loathe spam. Why must spam exist? Turn that off. Turn that off. I'm just going to put some lighting back up here, because I don't want to sit here and run. Yes, that's exactly the color I was thinking of. That's kind of sodium vapor right there. We'll do that. There we go. Let's see here. Cool colors. Yeah, there we go. Another thing, someone, um, I made a new friend last night. I don't know where to go with that. The studio is a little different. Um, it's slowly migrating. Yeah, the desk is now here. The chair, the cigar chair is right there. Um, I gotta figure out some lighting for my clock, and then we'll be going from there. And you guys all inspired me to go ahead and start working on my kitchen set, which is going to be over here. I'll start doing that. It is a different lens actually today. I've been playing around just all the different lenses. Normally I shoot that GH5 with the 18 to 35 Sigma um, on the Metabones XL. What I'm trying to do is I really want to blow these light bulbs out back here, and I'm just not having much luck. Mostly because my set is so small that I can't. There's too many confinements here to allow a short bokeh. So if I came up really close with like an 18 millimeter and went to like an f1.4, then I would be super in focus. Everything behind me would be blown out. However, it would be so wide because I'm trying to show the table and the top of my abnormally large head that it would show the top of the set as well. So I mean, there's only so much you can win. Plus, I have this rack right here, which normally you can't see, which is a great thing because my intention is for you to not see it. And then, well, I could almost pull up the GoPro. And then I have to shoot through it, trying to keep the monitor, which is right there, trying to keep it and this metal bar right here out of frame, as well as the overhead. So confinements. I mean, we create our own problems. Lewis Photographic, what are you doing next to YouTube? I guess re-ask that question. What am I doing next to YouTube? What do you mean by that? I mean, on YouTube, I plan on doing a lot. I always say that. I actually am. Um, I do want to get my van tour done. I have not. That's so rude. I have not done that yet, the full-blown van tour of the adventure van. I've got a lot of trips that I want to take here very soon. And I'm going to start traveling and working a little more this coming year. So I want to kind of create a standard by which you guys can always enjoy, like a standard vlog. See, because I get the, like when I'm out traveling, it was kind of funny. Not dropping good. Okay. Like on my adventure. So I still have tons of footage to cut up. However, I stopped vlogging. Like the last 2.5 weeks, I was so like disheveled from the lack of bandwidth to be able to ever upload a vlog that I felt like I was backlogging too many of them and not enjoying putting them out and finding out what was interesting people or not. And so I just kind of stopped vlogging. I have great footage. I videoed everything I could out there, and I time lapse. I did everything, but I didn't vlog it. And it kind of goes to what kind of videos interest this channel. And I don't know. I get mad at other YouTubers when they say they try something and people don't like it, and they're like, okay, I'll change. I mean, I really just feel like I want to be just me and put out the content that I like, and hopefully you guys like it. But I also do want to grow a community. I want a community of filmmakers, and so I want I want what interests and makes you go all happy. Bill says it almost looks surreal. It has that sitting in front of a green screen, but you can tell it's physical set behind you. You know what? That probably is the shallow depth of field. That is literally the very best um, of shallow depth of field I could get was the 50 millimeter. I'm disappearing into the set. Oh, I'm tapping on the green screen. Ah, just kidding. Um, I mean, I can steal the pins. Now, wouldn't that have been awesome if I'd have had a pin sitting on a green screen? That would have taken some planning. Um, let's see. How would you gaff tape the tubes up? I mean, usually those 4x have they usually have some type of dividers that kind of stick down. So you got the tubes up top, tube going this way, and then you got these like dividers that are usually directing the light downward, so you don't directly see the bulb. You can tape either side of those dividers, and then just loop around the quasar tube. As always, you should wrap some type of cable around it just to make sure it doesn't fall. But I mean, there's room to work in there. You could also, I mean, honestly, you can pull them down, throw a quasar tube up there, put it back up. It's not going to fall at that point. It's just a hazard when you lower it back down. If you head east, would love to collab on a couple of vids. Yeah, Bill, I will be doing east. Probably east in the fall, is my guess. Good idea. If you come to Berlin, let me know. You know, I do want to go to Germany. I really, really do want to go to Germany. I love the German. When you see the old German towns with the old houses on like cobblestone streets, I love that architecture. I just love that. And yeah, Germany's on my bucket list of places to go. That's a pretty small bucket, really, because Germany's pretty easy to get to. Too much of a pain. I changed vlogging style too. I started making music for my vlog so I didn't have to deal with copyright issues, and then I ended the year with more music than vlog. Yeah, exactly. What about pointing panel lights at the ceiling? So yes, you can do that. The problem you're going to have is, what if the ceiling panels are not white? And that is a problem. If it's a brand new building and they're brand new white, then maybe you could reflect off of it and you'll be just fine. But what if that building's been there since the 80s? And before it was a jiu-jitsu studio, it was a greasy spoon eatery. And so the ceiling panels are covered with 2 millimeters of like oil from French fries. Now you're going to have this brown tobacco yellow color that's going to artificially color your room. So a balance is not always the best way. Honestly, I would try to motivate from what you have. So if you have windows, turn off the overhead lights, blast as much daylight as you can through those windows. You can do it from the outside or the inside. Blast it sideways to everyone, and try to motivate that way. Look at that craft show. Hey, Drew, what are you filling the gap of our old time? What are you filling the gap of our old time? I don't know what that means. Am I just not getting that? What are you filling the gap of our old time? So, I mean, you stumped the live streamer, which, I mean, that happens. You know, what are you doing? Filling the gap of the old craft show. Yes, I am. Was it Tuesdays? I thought it was Wednesdays for you guys. I don't want to, because craft show is actually a really good live stream when they do it. I mean, they only live stream like the first time in like months, just the other day. But I mean, honestly, Drew, you guys were the reason I thought maybe a live stream on filmmaking might actually be of interest to people, because I'd look at yours and I'm like, these guys are doing this instead of video. You tell me when you're doing yours, and I'll adjust my time so that I'm not doing it on top of you, because That's not what friends do. What we could do is vlogception or live stream inception, and then loop it in. I don't know how to do it. You have the better software. I looked at that software that Drew and I were talking about. I wanted to be able to play videos on the live stream and be able to talk about videos, but I can't get the audio to come through because you have to route it out and then bring it in through a capture card or through a audio capture, and then the sync is all messed up. And it just seems like a real pain in the rear to me. They're using software that works, but I'm using free because Scott's cheap, and that's a tip you can save money with. Lost audio and video here. Uh-oh. And per our luck, we broke your stream too. Buffering? Is anybody else buffering? I don't. You are back. Okay. It's not showing any drop frames though. Stream is healthy. No active stream. I don't know. You know, I got the worst internet on the planet. Everybody knows. So whenever Craft Show is live streaming, y'all should go over there. Unless I'm live streaming on top, then we'll battle to the death. They'll win. And then that way we can truly battle royale the live streams. I think, yeah. The whole thing paused. Video and audio, so probably no drop frames. Huh? Maybe it was a upstream problem. So Drew, have you all played with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K thing, or as I like to call it, the Mattel My First Video Camera? We should actually create a network. Why not, dude? We should create a network. We have it. I was about to ask you about it. Yeah. Did you see the screen grabs that I posted? I'd be interested to see if you knew which one was which. A lot of people have been commenting on which one they thought was the GH5 and which one they thought was the Blackmagic, and not too many people are right. It's kind of funny. It's funny to see people go, "Oh yeah, that's the GH5," because you can tell the highlights are blown. Maybe it wasn't. And I did something. I think it was the first time I found your channel, Drew. You had compared the GH5 to the Dragon. And I think the comment that I made, and in fact, I guessed which one was which, and I got them all wrong. And I feel like the reason was you were grading the Dragon to the GH5, which is somewhat unfair. I mean, you could take a better camera and make it look like a lesser camera. So I wanted to make sure, and I could be just talking about my rear end, and you're like, no, that didn't happen like that. When I did this test, I was doing both. So I would take so I used the Lumix 12 to 35, and I used the 18 to 35 on the Metabones XL on the Blackmagic, and I would swap them. So I would shoot with the Lumix on the Blackmagic, and then I would do the 18 to 35 on it, and the same. And then when I'm playing with the actual images in post, I'm grading one to the other and then completely redoing it and grading the other one to the other one to see if one actually stands out above the rest. And they're pretty close, actually. Fisher Price, the BXL 2000. This is more like the 1000. They just the PXL 2000. That was the Hasbro, wasn't it? Are you actually talking about the little one that recorded on cassette tapes? Oh God, us old guys. Topic change. How do you make a gigapixel photo like the one you posted? It's actually it's not that hard. The way that they're done, and the Kessler Crane second shooter also has that ability. But you basically put it on a motion control device. Pick. That's how they're doing it. And then they stitch them all together, and it's called gigapixel. Gigapixel is the original concept of that, and then there's lots of them that will stitch them together like that. I thought the GH5 had a slight pink hue. Yeah. It does. The other thing that's interesting about this one is it's always warmer than it indicates. So as I was saying earlier, you could shift the way down into the lower color temperatures on outdoors and daylight, and it still is warmer than it should be. It's really odd. Now, if you shoot raw, you don't really care. But I just found it amazing that I would match the colors, and then when I get it in post, it's warmer, a lot warmer. I was in Resolve. I was dumping the temperature on it like 300 negative. It's an odd one. To me, if you've ever shot with the Ursa Mini, this right here is an Ursa Mini 4.6 minus 2 stops of dynamic range. It does exactly the same thing that I did not like with the Ursa Mini in the highlights, in the sky. I feel like when it comes to highlights that it kind of pastels everything. I don't know how to describe it. I'm really bad at it, but it kind of just, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of definition in sky, even if you protect the highlights in the sky. There's not a whole lot of difference. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? There's not a whole lot of difference in it. The GH5, the GH5 comes with its own slew of problems, like don't go past 82 IRE, don't go below 20 IRE. Pretty much just keep it in this tiny little range, which makes it near impossible to do. But when you do that, you get a beautiful picture. Not dropping any frames. Good. Where'd everybody go? No more conversations. The other Bill had to go, and Lewis Photographic. Richard, where'd y'all go? Everybody say hello. So we shot some stuff this morning. What'd you shoot on? Because you guys are always playing with the better lenses. I don't have any better lenses right at the moment. I don't have any better lenses. Actually, the best lenses I have right now are the 70-200 and the 18-35, and those are really good lenses, but they're not cinema lenses. We're breaking our thoughts on a reel. We shot a narrative open to the reel. Chat went away for a bit? That's weird. We opted not to shoot on high-end glass. I'll tell you, some of my favorite glass to shoot when you're not looking for like crystal clear, but you're looking for character, Mamiya lenses. Buy those suckers off eBay. Those old large format or medium format Mamiya lenses. They are so beautiful. They gold cast. They actually would have worked really well for your 70s film that you did. I don't know, you wanted to play with the high-end glass, but they're not anamorphic, but the style would have matched quite well to that 70s look. And I always enjoy lens character with the story. It is always, it's always one of those fun things, is finding that character to go with your short. My hand stinks. My dog stinks. You ever get a big dog, there's no way to keep them from stinking. Drew, did you check out the Ronin S at $550? Those things are cheap. I've got the universal mount coming. Oops, there we go. So the universal mount plugs in here and allows you to use V-mount batteries. So I will be able to mount it directly on my my Kessler Killshock shot mount, right on the hood of my car, and control it just like it's kind of like a baby Movi Pro. I consider that kind of cool, and they're cheap. But apparently, as I'm hearing more and more, there's going to be another Ronin S coming out soon, which I don't I don't think it would be coming out before NAB. In fact, what I think would happen is they would show it at NAB and it wouldn't be available to ship until June. Genghis Khan shot on vintage Kawas. I don't think I saw that one. I'd have to check that out. Uh, yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, the little mount is like 169 bucks. It just got released like 2 weeks ago from DJI, but I mean for 169 bucks, it's hard not to like that value. Plus, it removes all of the large because. My buddy of mine, he mounted the bottom to a jib arm. I'm like, oh, wait a second. And he was suspending it upside down. So I was like, okay, you raise the jib up 8 feet and you only have 4 foot of rise on that because it hangs down so much. But with that universal mount, solved. So all in what is the total cost of the Ronin S? $550. $550 you get this. And I hate that it won't keep it. $550 you get this, as is, exactly like that, with a case, everything. And then for the base mount, it's $169. That's it. That is the most I'm spending on this because my intention were not to. Well, okay. So you do need some type of remote transmitter, which you can use any of the, you can go with brand name Futaba or you can go with the cheap Chinese $100 transmitters on Amazon. I already have one. I have like a 14 channel that I bought. It uses standard receiver. You just need to rewire one of the pins on the receiver and then you can plug it in right, where's it go? Right up on top of here. On top of the focus wheel, there is actually an S-bus connector. So you can plug in your receiver there. Now you can use the Futaba remote control. Hold on 1 second. My dog is in the way. You can use the Futaba remote control to control the direction of the pan and tilt as well as the roll if you want on the remote head at that point, mounted on your car. So, $169 for the mount, $550 for this. You'd still need some type of V-mount battery. It comes with, well, any kind of battery with a P-tap because it has a P-tap connector that it comes with, and then the transmitter. But I mean, for less than $1,000, I mean, a lot less than $1,000, like $800, you've got a fully functioning, well, but you will need the shock mount. You will need the, dog, hold on. I'll be right back. You'll need this guy right here. Yeah, see, I told you I'd come back. See, that's what y'all guys need. Y'all need wireless microphones so y'all can walk around your set. So the Kessler Kill Shock is the isolation mount that I use, and it's designed all the way up to like 35 or 40 pound rigs, swapping out these wires. With this, it's so light, I'm gonna have to get the I think they're the blue wires. So this one is rated between 20 and 30 pounds, I think, for this type of isolation mount with the cables as is. The blue ones I can get it down because if I'm flying a GH5 on the Ronin S, with the Ronin S, I mean, you're talking 10 pounds. It's nothing. So definitely have to go with a less stiff mounting structure. There we go. Okay, I'm back. Plus the mount. Yep, Sasquatch. Yeah, that's me with the beard. Get the beard going on. Gotta shave it down here on the sides. I'm getting kind of plump on the sides. So yeah, I need to I need to come through Mobile, Alabama sometime and we can at least kick back a few beers. I am going to go to Atlanta sometime, uh, probably February or March. I'm gonna go work there. See if I can get a couple jobs in a couple weeks. Atlanta is just a poppin' place. Um, Heading back out. So heading back out, I plan on doing when the spring thaw hits. I plan on doing central of America of the U.S. If you say Central America, it doesn't come out right. The central part of the U.S. Planning on going back up again. I would like to get up to Banff. Actually, I never got to do Banff in Canada, mostly because of giant amounts of forest fires. But I want to do that one and then come back down the middle. And I think, I think that that trip would probably go right along the Atlanta, and then come down and then back across, and just kind of doing this number as I go up. And then, and I think I might have some people join me, which honestly would be a great thing because when you have one person, you're at the will of one person as far as creativity. So if the one person gets up and feels like I do today, it doesn't feel like doing anything, you don't do anything that day, and that day is basically wasted in a sense for creativity. If you have two people, you have the rubber band syndrome. There's one pulls, the other one is attached by a rubber band. Either this one's getting snapped back or this one's getting snapped up. You get three, and now you start really kind of moving things along, and you're far more creative. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Simon Eisenbach, who's been on this show a couple times, he's going to join me at least for some of the legs. And then I've got my buddy down in San Antonio, not this Bill, but my other buddy. He wants to do something similar to that. So yeah. No way. I think I'm going to Atlanta in Feb. Yeah, well, Richard, it could work out. Jiu-jitsu in February. Great amount of, yeah, and Georgia just signed the tax incentives for another 10 years. So it is flat out the new Hollywood. Everything is being made there. My friends that are there are working constantly. Far more than here, and on productions that are the absolute top tier. It is hopping there. I mean, Drew, you guys could make a run up there for a week and do a whole bunch of work, and it's good pay, it's good work, and it is pure full crew, 100 plus crew shoots up there a lot. Which is insanity. Yeah, it's. I love being on set. Anytime I am on set, not just myself. When I'm with myself, I'm like, yay! I'm shooting a movie. I'm shooting a film. Everyone's gonna love Santa Claus sitting on the toilet. No, when I'm on set, I just get pumped up. I get so inspired and excited to do something. So it's a win-win for me. Wow. Man, so what else is going on out there in the real world? Because Tuesdays, I just kind of meh. I'm not feeling it. I was trying to edit. I had a shoe spec commercial I shot. I was trying to edit it. I edited it up yesterday. Got a pretty good rough cut. Sent it off to a couple buddies who gave me a whole bunch of pointers on a bunch of different stuff, and then I started cutting it up again, and then I just like blanked. I just like, I didn't want to stare at it anymore. And so I said, you know what? I bet craft shows live streaming. Let me go live stream on top of that. No, I just said, it's time to live stream. We've been pushing into that market a bit. It's got good, it does. I mean, I know so many people in Atlanta, and there's so much work. It is amazing. Drew, you should be on. Are you on the Village Video Village Facebook group? If not, you should be, because you can get calls on there pretty well. Um, New challenge in our advertising world: the infamous 6 second bumper. That's a job. No kidding, because it was 7 seconds before. Now it's 6, and it all really has to do with what they'll pay for, because I guess they know best. It also has to do with the attention span of today's viewer. No one sits through 30 seconds. And I used to crack up when like a 3 minute video for a foam mattress would appear before one of my videos. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna watch the whole 3 minutes and see what it is that you couldn't tell in 30 seconds that you need to tell in 3 minutes. And quite honestly, it's like, think about the cheapest commercials on the planet, which are daytime television or nighttime television, where it's like a 30-second infomercial where they're talking about, buy this iPhone case, it's 1-800 blah 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 blah, and they repeat the phone number 74 times. That's the whole commercial. So maybe 6 seconds isn't that hard. Just repeat the phone number like 6 times. Phone number, what's that? Repeat the web address. Okay, fine. Whatever it takes. YouTube sets the parameters, non-skippable. It's a completely different mindset for us, but it gets results. Yeah, are y'all advertising on YouTube? I didn't notice. I'm one of those bad people that blocks advertisements for the most part. But and my thing with advertisements is I would tolerate some advertising. I wouldn't have a problem with some. What I have a problem with is quantity. I mean, just like brute force. Like Hulu, it's like, oh, you're going to go ahead and watch full ads. Know what we do for clients. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't make much money at all. I think I don't even think I pay for my drink mix habit with my advertising. You guys are a little more you're more far along with your company, which I do admire and follow closely for that purpose. Because I, not being full time until very recently, and that has been a struggle in and of itself. And I look at every possible thing that I can as to what works, what doesn't. In the end, we all have to fail forward. We all have to just keep trying things that don't work until we get one that does. And that's what I preached, because that's certainly how I learned. And I haven't learned everything yet. Let's see, what else is going on? I always crack up. I have this like giant shelf over here, shelving floor to ceiling over here, and then behind this brick wall on the other side, there's another set of shelves, and all of it are props for stuff that I never shot. Came up with the idea, wrote a small script, bought the props, bought everything I needed to shoot it, but I don't have any actors out here in the middle of nowhere, and so I always like, well, all right, let me put that to the side. Just kind of like the transmitter that I have that I'm going to use for this. I bought that with a bunch of pneumatics and linear actuators, where I built a robotic cat. Not a full robotic cat, but it was a cat that basically would stick its paw out and trip you as you walk by, for a short called The Weatherman that I shot a test of, didn't like, and then never shot it again. And I shot it specifically for a one actor, which was going to be me. But I mean, it's the little things that we do. I have all those props. I don't know why I went way off of that tangent, but I was just looking at a stack of old laptops up there that just cracked me up. That they're all dead or in conditions that you just don't care. And they were all so I could throw it, whatever. Feast or famine for us. As I've told you, we love to be inspired by team sport. One big family. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And that is that's what I love about. It's not YouTube. It's just today's filmmaker, because that whole mystique, that whole, well, I'm not telling you anything unless you go from the bottom all the way to the top after 40 years, then we'll tell you how to make toast on an airy Fresnel. Uh, I never liked that. In fact, I hated it. When I worked in television, it was that way. And the only reason that I got to accelerate well beyond everybody else who had to start at the very bottom level was because I had a skill set that they did not. I had the computer skill set, and everything was going digital, everything was going HD. So I built that network up, and so here I am playing with the stuff they don't even know about, and it was only because I had a skill set that that they didn't have. And I always disliked that model. That to me, that's the union model, and I don't like anybody that says you have to do it this way because that's the way I was taught. That's not how people consume data. That's not how they consume knowledge. They consume knowledge with their eyes open and their intention on it. And so yeah, that's what I like about filmmakers today is we all just want to consume. We all want to share. We're not hidden. We're not like trade secrets. We're not, oh, I can't tell you how I did that. I mean, even like pricing, it is amazing to me how many people will share pricing today, where they wouldn't even 5 years ago. They're like, oh, I can't tell you that. Well, sure you can. It's not like your price is going to change if you tell. Yeah. Wow, that was a long diatribe, wasn't it? What is it with a dog? I mean, I've got my stool here that I'm on. It's got wheels on it so I can spin around and move around set. My dog is laying right next to the wheel. He's got his paw wrapped around it. So if I move in every way, he's going to get injured. So I can't move. I can't move. Yeah, pricing. Pricing was a great eye-opener for me. I did not realize what people were shooting for and would accept and then aim for. And it's funny because, feast or famine, you're going to feed your family in the end. So if the only thing you have is a $200 gig, like holding a camera while a presenter's up on stage and you're about to fall asleep, but you didn't have any other options and your family's hungry, you'll do that. 5 years ago, people wouldn't tell you that they would do it. They did it. They just wouldn't tell you that they do it. And today, you do the work you need to do. We all strive for those big multi-figure budgets where we get to really be creative and bring in like the high-end lights. We get to bring in, we get a full 5-ton grip truck. Cool, let's do that. We get to splurge on some cool lenses and some good cameras and, yeah. But we do what we have to do. Drew, I'm going to hit you up offline. I'll tell you a story. I don't think I shared with very many, but I'll hit you up on something. Let's see. We actually have talked about it before, but the biggest game changer this year was moving off the hourly model. We lumped some of it all to our client. Well, okay, yes, and I get it, and I somewhat price the same way. I typically I don't do hourly. I do days, and when I'm pitching a large project, I pitch the package, and I mean it really comes down to the more detail you put in there, the more refined that pricing gets, the more they can nitpick it and will. Well, why do we have to, you know what, if you're doing it in 10, can we just do it in 8 and I only have to pay for 8? And then also, you have in here a PA for this amount of money. Can we just not do the PA? I'll help carry cases. That's all it is. And Yeah, I get it. Package lump sum is by far the best, and I price good, better, best in my pricing. I give options, and those options really are the good is the bare minimum that it's even worth trying to do their idea or the idea. Better is what I'm shooting for. It's what I believe creatively will serve their pitch or serve the pitch the best. And then best is, well, you have a little bit more money? Let's bring in some freaking tigers. Let's have some fun. Yeah, that's that's the, that's the way we live in this world. Let's see here. Totally with you. Minimum viable product. Yeah, I mean, there's a point where you're like, I'll just operate camera in somebody else's idea because I can't do what you want. I know that I can't pull off what you want for that low of a budget. So let me just be a crew on that. Uh, and it is amazing, even when they buy the best or the better, they get the mid-range product, and then they try to get it down to that lower cost. Well, we don't need a DIT. I mean, all you're doing is just copying files, right? That's true. That's really what it entails. Sometimes we're also throwing a grade out there to Video Village. Um, Sometimes we're organizing, duplicating. We're spending a lot of time making sure that checksums are met. But I mean, hey, if you want me to do that instead of operate the camera when you say action, okay, yeah, yeah. It's a fun world out there. But you know what? I love this. In fact, I'm actually feeling after this live stream, I'm feeling far more inspired today than I was earlier. Before I started the live stream, I was totally, I didn't want to do anything. And my intentions are tonight to take, I hope to have a good sunset, take the Black Magic and the GH5 and go hit some sunset stuff and really do some dynamic range when the sky is purdy. Yeah. So what else is everybody doing up there? What is that? Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything else? I've been live streaming for an hour and 7 minutes, which is cool. I'll usually live stream as long as I'm not sitting here rambling, because the one thing I think about anytime I'm live streaming is, will anybody watch this after the fact? Will anybody actually sit through and watch through 3 hours of me rambling on, let me tell you a story, back when I was a kid, this pen used to cost a nickel, but we didn't have a nickel because stones were $3 a pound, and we used to have to build brick walls out of stones that we'd find down by the creek. Yeah, I get it. I'm going to the Jiu-Jitsu studio to do a test later. Well, test. Also, if that Jiu-Jitsu studio is in a strip center, check the lighting. Check, is it a large glass wall, and does the sun hit it in the morning or sun hit it in the evening? How long are you planning on shooting for? Because if the sun hits it in the morning, you get a lot more light coming through those windows. You can cheat it even more and turn off the overhead lights, as long as you're shooting it within a range, because you got to think of continuity, because those light shadows are going to grow really fast. But think about the sunrise sunset, where the sun is in relation to that studio, how many windows, where can you cheat, how can you turn off the overhead lights. Keep that all in mind, Richard, as you do it. Drop those videos on YouTube, and I will do the old GH5 versus yeah, we can do that. If there's any other questions, comments, concern. Wow, it drops a lot of frames. Wow. I'm filming at night. Well, then you don't get the sun. The sun doesn't come out at night, Richard. How's that going to help at all? Yeah, you need to just look at your surroundings, because if you throw lights up in the corners and you point them down at the people, you're going to have these nice crisscross shadows on the floor. It's going to look really silly. Bouncing it off the ceiling is probably going to be your best shot, provided your ceiling is white, provided you have enough lights to bounce off the ceiling. You're going to be shooting at a really high ISO, or you're going to be using the overhead lights. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do. You could. How many quasars you got? Didn't you buy like 8 of the 4-foot tubes, daylights? He doesn't speak good English, and my brother thinks he doesn't want me to mess with stuff. Well, yeah, you definitely need to state your plan ahead of time, or else you're going to have all kinds of problems with that. Um, my my best take is to come in with as much light as you got and try bouncing it and seeing what you can do with it, because otherwise you're just going to have the nasty color. You're just going to get it. And you can shoot and test it, try it tonight, and see what kind of color you're getting. I mean, at least with raw, you can adjust the color temperature, but you can't adjust the color quality. That is what it is. 4-foot, 2-foot. Yeah, okay. What I was going to suggest, if you had enough 4-footers, you could tape those all up along the corners of the room, and kind of blast them inward. I don't know how that. I don't think that's going to be enough there of the quasars. So it's an idea. Yeah. Well. All right. If no one has any questions or comments, I will start my. I've never rehearsed this closing statement. As always, if you have any questions or comments, do feel free to put those in the comment section down below. I do try to read and respond to each and every one, even if it's just to say thank you. Follow me on all social medias at Scott Balkum, except for Snapchat. Nobody's on that. I do have a Patreon if you want to support me that way. I do appreciate all my Patreon supporters. And if you want to, that's really annoying when I just sit there and go click, 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 click. Yeah, if you want to support me on Patreon, I greatly appreciate that. Let's see. Also, don't forget to click subscribe. I mean, it's kind of silly for you to be watching me for an hour and 12 minutes and have not subscribed already. But just in case you haven't, like, gone over that line and that threshold and feel like you're not sure, let me just tell you right now, go ahead and click subscribe. And go ahead and click that little alert bell next to it, because YouTube is going to be making some changes. I just got in the survey last night. They're going to be changing how that alert bell works. So click that alert bell so you can be notified every time I live stream or every time I upload a video, because you want to know, right? Yeah, so as always, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions. I really didn't think I was going to catch that. That's kind of awesome. Cool.